Elliot, what is it about society that disappoints you so much?
Is it that we collectively thought Steve Jobs was a great man, even when we knew he made billions off the backs of children?
A world built on fantasy.
Or maybe it's that it feels like all our heroes are counterfeit.
Synthetic emotions in the form of pills.
Spamming each other with our bullshit.
Psychological warfare.
Masquerading as insight.
In the form of advertising.
Or is it that we voted for this?
Turn it off. Took out the battery.
With our things.
By corporation.
Property. Our money.
Hypnotizing us into the biggest slumber mankind has ever seen.
Elliot, you're not saying anything. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Action! The show's about multiple things, but central it's about this guy named Elliot. He's our main character. He's a cybersecurity engineer by day and a vigilante hacker by night. It's really about his place in the world and how sort of technology has kind of taken over our sort of modern day society.
All of these amazing things that have enhanced our life so much at the same time has also destroyed a lot of humanity.
Everything is digitized. Everything is a digital number. Everything's on a digital display, to the point where even our relationships are now monetized by Facebook and Twitter and all these social media corporations. So this ownership that we're kind of allowing these corporations to take over is sort of a modern day dilemma.
The 1% versus the 99, the zillionaires that play God and govern, like that invisible hand that we all have to live by.
He hacks into people's lives because he has the disability of not being able to connect with human beings. I will start by saying Sam's a very unique individual. He's whip smart, he's incredibly talented, and this is clearly his mind behind this show.
He's here all the time, and this is such a cerebral television show that if you don't have the guy who created it, you know, sort of helping you and keeping you on track on certain elements, I think it would be impossible to do.
It's unbelievable working with Sam on set. This whole story is so close to him.
So my background is that I'm just a nerd at heart. I had actually started an internet company during the whole internet boom. My friends were programmers. Some of them were hackers. And I just never felt it was represented well in television or film. So there was like a part passion for the culture and passion to tell their story, and / frustration with how poorly I thought it was being represented from Hollywood.
And action.
I started writing Mr. Robot about 3 years ago, and it was kind of 3 factors that sort of inspired me to write it. One was this just passion for the culture that I always wanted to tell a story about. 2 was the financial crisis of 2008. There was this anger there, it was just in the air. And then 3, I'm actually Egyptian, so all my young cousins out in Egypt started a revolution using Twitter and Facebook, and that became the Arab Spring. And it was sort of those 3 seminal events that sort of inspired me to say, okay, I need to tell this story, because I just thought this was an important story to tell. I actually started writing it as a feature. It's not going to be a television show. And then I think I got to about page 90 and realized, well, okay, I'm only halfway through the first act. So I turned it into a television show. I went around and pitched it. USA was very passionate about my vision for the first season, and they just seemed really on board with what I wanted to do. I could tell that they were sort of uncompromising about it. So that's how we joined forces.
What's unique about this show is, like, sometimes on a TV show, for instance, it'll be a green screen, and in post, they'll, like, superimpose what you're supposed to be looking at on the computer. I know Sam has been very adamant about it not looking that way because he wants to look as real as possible. So they have a really awesome technology team here that sets up these amazing graphics and executes these sequences to make it look like we're really doing what we're saying that we're doing.
This is one of the first shows where we showcase the use of Linux, and
a terminal window, which is basically a black window with white text. It looks very much like old MS-DOS prompt.
I'm very obsessive about the authenticity of all the technical beats of the story. From a creative standpoint, there's the temptation to sort of gloss over that. And it's like the red button dilemma. You know, there's the big red button on the screen. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's not based in any sort of reality. But it's easy, the audience will get it. But the thing about developing a television show about technology nowadays is that people are savvier. The technology is so sort of intimate in everyone's lives nowadays. They know that a big red button doesn't really exist.
Production design is so crucial to the show and to the look and the aesthetic. It's so unbelievably fascinating what they can do with recreating the arcade that originally we filmed on Coney Island, building it onto a stage with all of the little details that most people probably won't even be able to see on TV, but they're there.
Production design is incredibly important to me. You can pick the lenses and the lighting and all of that, but if you're not photographing something that's matching what you're trying to go for, it's not gonna look right. We wanted this grittier look, and so we wanted this washed-up arcade that no one really goes to. It's kind of a relic from the past.
Society is kind of like, they're like the underground rats of it all. So they're kind of inside of this bunker, and that was one thing that was really important to me. To stay true to what is happening in here, I said it really should be a space that has almost every type of light hitting it other than daylight.
Elliot's apartment feels like a New York apartment. It's on a stage, but it has that dingy, decrepit feel of your first or second New York apartment.
When you watch a lot of films or television shows set in New York, they build these big, expansive apartments that will cost, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to live in. You know, Elliot's a cybersecurity engineer. These are people that don't have a lot of money. And when you live in New York, even when you do have a lot of money, it's not a lot of space. And we wanted to keep it that way. So he's got this kind of grungy, studio-esque apartment. The kitchen's right there, the bed's on the floor. You know, and even like if you look at Angela and Ollie's apartment, you know, we went a different way with that. That's not as grungy. They live more in the Chelsea area, but still small and not incredibly big. Stephen Beatrice, our production designer, really went to great lengths to go for, again, authenticity, because that's something that's really important to us.
I remember reading the pilot, and there's that scene in the therapist's office where he talks about our heroes being counterfeits and how we drown ourselves with things to basically distract us from being a human being, because it's painful being a human being. And when I read that, I mean, my eyes lit up, and I just wanted to be a part of it. I loved running away with you. All the characters, I think, in this series are so specific.
Elliot wants to change the world, and he has this anger, and he's trying to channel it in this positive way. And then there's sort of this devil on his shoulder in Mr. Robot, who is sort of the id to his ego, who's trying to get him to change the world in a more dramatic or anarchist way.
I'm getting off here. I think you should come with me. I come into Elliot's life, recruit him into this organization, F Society, and I use his skills and ability to continue and move forward with this revolution that we have started.
DDoS attack last night. You were testing me.
Elliot's become very disenchanted with the society he lives in, and through F Society, he's able to settle the score in a certain way.
I need you to focus on the next phase of our project. Comet, the natural gas plant up around Albany. We're gonna blow it up.
So the relationship from Elliot and Mr. Robot is a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Elliot is sort of the really more stable guy in a certain respect. I mean, Mr. Robot really wants to blow things up and, you know, create a little bit more havoc and a little bit more carnage. And thank God Elliot is there to sort of help to keep things on track and maybe move things in a much more safer manner, using the technology.
I know how to take out the backups without blowing up the pipeline.
You know, Elliot, I really feel like we resolved this thing between us. Didn't you walk away?
Elliot discovers who Mr. Robot is. It's a pretty confounding experience. It's very sad and very dark.
Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell me?
Okay, Elliot.
This whole time?
Elliot, you are not well.
There's an unresolved conflict from how his father passed away when he was young at 8 that is rearing its ugly head later in life. And so Elliot's never had a father, and Elliot yearns for a father, and it comes as this sort of other personality.
But I think he's kind of his strength and the powerful side to him that he kind of doesn't really know exists.
It's going to be very, very hard for Elliot to ever get Mr. Robot. Really, you know, he's so deeply ingrained into him that he'll never get him out of his soul.
I have to say it's been a fun ride, but I don't think any other job is anything like running a show, for sure.
I just hope that it raises questions for the audience, and they want to know more, and they want to be engaged in these characters and kind of figure out what happens.
In today's world, the technological advances are staggering. It's all happening so quickly. We're losing the ability to interact with each other on a human level. We're just staring at screens and monitors, and I think this show is asking us to go out there and have things be a bit more tangible. Look up from the screen, take in the world you live in. Maybe do something about it. Maybe don't, but at least experience it.
I don't want to give answers to anyone. I think the great thing about the show is if people would talk about these issues that we raise, whether it's technology, whether it's capitalism, income inequality, what is freedom, all of those things. To me, it's like if we can just get people talking, I'm not endorsing a specific point of view. I'm actually sort of just raising the questions.